Right, so this is Dolly. So Dolly has had laminitis. We've had a couple of x-rays and stuff like that. We're doing really well, and it's about keeping that level of soundness going. So we've currently got her in the squishy pads. So when we first did her, she was in the squishy pad with the cuff going all the way around. What the squishy pad does is it's a deformal clog, so it's got a massive bevel going all the way around, and it weighs absolutely nothing, this thing. But it squidges. You can see you just got a little squidge there, but I don't weigh, that with my fingers here. So we had the cuff going all the way around just to provide stability, but based on one of her x-rays, it could have been sat further back. So you can see these little notches that are just there. I cut them out, so it means the toe can be set back a little bit. So today, because we're doing really well, what we're going to do is go into some, rather than it being a squishy shoe, we're going into what's called a Euro bar, which we'll do in a minute. But basically, it's exactly the same, but it's hard instead of soft. And then from then, we'll then go barefoot. Sometimes if you go completely from one amazing thing like this and then go straight to barefoot, it can just be a little bit too much of a step. So we're going to go with the Euro bars to make sure that we're having a nice kind transition back into barefoot, which is obviously the end goal. So let's watch Dolly move. Hello, Dolly. Hello, Dolly. Good girl. Right, do you want to get yourself comfortable? Right, nice bit of foot today. So, good girl. Yeah. So, these are the Euro bars that we were talking about. So, really, really cool. A little bit of a gap here just to sort of go down the level of support from the squishy pad. Still very supportive, but again, we're transitioning back to barefoot being like here, if that makes sense. So these shoes are not squishy, but they still have a massive clog beveled going all the way around, and I can still set the foot back a little bit. So that's what they are, and they're so cute because they're tiny. So they're going back in there. So stuff that we need, normal trimming gear. Now, last time when we did Dolly, it was an absolute nightmare to take them off with the nippers because those reins, with the foot being like that, it's really hard to get your fingers in there. So this is where this is really going to come handy today. And then we've got the shoes, the degreaser, just to get, end of the day I'm working with my hands, so it just gets all that sort of stuff off. Nozzles with the glue, cling film, latex gloves, copper sulfate to keep everything antibacterial, and the soft dental impression material that we mix together. So let's get going. Right, let's get this started, Dolly, because I don't have to rip you off anymore, or shouldn't have to. One side done. Because I'm right-handed here, but because we're on the outside, I think I can get my nippers in this side. Again, these really like to peel off. You can't really cut them off as such. But there you go. Once you start the peel, it starts to, there we go, it starts to work its way around. Cut it off. There we go. That's one side done, and the other side almost done. We can do that from this side, I think. So, take the feet up. That's one side off. And then work this side off. Quite tricky when you have a little pony. You can see my reins aren't too far from the belly. Sometimes you need, there we go, tiny little borer tool to get these off. So the black that you see here, we'll do another video on how to put these on. But this black here isn't actually thrush. This is what's called then Magic Cushion. So Magic Cushion is an anti-inflammatory sort of tar. So massive amount of exfoliation. Clearly the feet are quite long, which is amazing, absolutely amazing to see. The support that these offer and the amount of blood flow that they offer means that they grow loads of foot, which when you're transitioning from a recovering laminitic, the more foot you've got to play with, the better. You can see just how much foot this horse has. This pony has even. Nice and chalky, which is the only bit that I'm removing. I'm not going into the waxy material, because that's the horse telling me to stop. Whereas all this natural exfoliation here is what the horse would have naturally have shed. Anyway, good pony. So, quick little eyeball, see how much foot we've got, which is absolutely loads. And I'm thinking about where I want my nipper to go. So we started there, and I want to aim around here. So I'm creating a line in my head about where I want to go, but I'm keeping above that because I'd rather do 3 rash strokes than go 1 wrong nipper move wrong. And then I'm thinking I want to end up just about there. So that's what we're doing there. We'll go down. And after we've given her a rough trim, there we go, right there, we'll put her down and then reassess. Because when we're dealing with, now I've got a little bit more foot off, I can get my knife in a lot easier, because when it's like that with the foot, I can't get it in. To make it nice and lovely. And we'll put her down just to be a bit comfortable in the minute. Grasp, see a little bit more heel than that one. I am just going to take off a little bit more of this heel, because we want the heels to be quite low in height on a laminitic. But we'll do another video on that. So working round in an ordinary fashion. I like if I go around in a nipper this way, I go around with my rasp the other way. You get used to that as you sort of go along. About creating a routine when you start trimming and stick to it. It's a process, so I like to stick to it. What I'm doing now, creating a bevel the whole way around at a 45-degree angle. And again, just like that other video, I'm giving myself a marker of when I flip the feet the other way, I've got a marker of where to go to and keep that shape. Good girl. From the underneath. Good girl. You can see I am on my knees doing this as well. With a laminitic, you need to get these toes back as well. Not downwards, but that way. Backwards. There we go. Again, purposely making this trim quite rough. All right, darling, I know. This trim quite rough. Give it something to glue to stick to. That's my main goal. Go on then, put it down. It'll keep you happy. Sometimes you make the horse comfortable, and it pays off dividends in how they stand. So not only make them more comfortable, because that's what we're here for at the end of the day, even if it does make my job very, very awkward. Clean the workspace a little bit at least. Right, new shoes. We need a white brush. Got it. Always something you leave. Okay, Dolly. Just another look at this trim, just while I'm here. So get rid of all the flaky things that we don't want to see. Again, stopping when it goes a little waxy. Clean the area up. Quickly see how these fit on here. And those fit quite nicely, if I do say so myself. Checking the coronet band on each side, which I think we're good. Not touching anywhere, so I think we can go ahead with the degreaser. Change my mind. Do one foot, then the other. Give her a break on this foot, I think. But keep that to one side, just because that's the dirty one, because I've already touched it with my hands. No point dirtying two if we don't help it. So we'll start. Oh, we've already started. That's really good. I'm trying to lever it a little bit, but I think it is more of a cutter, this. But basically, if I can just get it started, and I've reached the concrete now, so that's all that can do. But if I can just get it started, that's the main thing. And the idea of these shoes as well is it's non-traumatic, so we want to get as least amount of trauma to the horse as humanly possible. And that's why, well, nails do go this small, but if you start hammering this horse, you'll literally, with a concussion, one of the causes of laminitis is actually concussion. So why am I doing it? So hence why we're gluing on, and why I'm on my hands and knees with a little knife doing this. So you can just see we've started the peel process that starts to take it off. Again, sometimes it's quite hard when you're dealing with little ponies with tiny little feet and really big tools. So it just gives me something, because the glue's so flush, it's hard to get your nipper in sometimes. So it gives me a little bit of a, you see that little bit of a lip just to peel. It's the peel that takes it off. Again, acrylic glue really doesn't like the peel process, but it's really good that way, and shear forces being this way. So thank you, Dolly, for putting one of your feet out. That really helps me right now. Right, there we go, little pull. There we go. Little pull. So I reckon that's just about off now, and we can start the trim. Good, pony. So bit of leverage. Look at them. Who glued this on? It was me, wasn't it? I think it's just with how I've levered that off. I think we're good this side. I think it's, again, this inside. You can just see there, just still hanging on. But glue shoes don't stick. There we go. I reckon that should have got it. Be careful not to cut into the hoof as well. We don't want to do that. Let's just stop the peeling and cut. There we go. Just so I can expose it. There we go. Right, let's try again. I am also right-handed, and this is the left foot. There we go. Good girl. There we go. And finally off. So again, the black stuff, you can just see there, is the magic cushion. It's not thrush, and you can see here it's nice and blue. So that blue, you can just see me exfoliating, is the antibacterial properties. And wow, you can see the bruising now. Wow, look at that. That is amazing. So that isn't from this time. This is actually from, as the feet sort of grow out, you can see the bruising caused by the laminitis attack that we originally had. And it just takes time to sort of grow out, if that makes sense. So that little bit of red there isn't blood, anything like that, because otherwise it would just be dribbling down. That is actually a bruise. So being very careful around there and that area. So we were just discussing before whether we, you know, go squishy and then go straight to barefoot. And I think if we'd have made that choice, then I would be arguing against that today, purely and simply because I want to protect it that little bit, but also not cause pressure. So those Euro bars have a gap in the toe, and that will leave it, yes, exposed, but at the same time, this is an old bruise, this isn't a new bruise, because otherwise it'd be dribbly, and it's not. But it also stops pressure, so you don't want pressure to get to it or anything along them sort of lines. So that's what that is for, because these shoes, remember, are quite hard, so you don't want the foot naturally descends and come back and stuff like that, so you don't want anything like that to happen, because pressure on a laminitic is great this half, but not that half. You can see we do not want to exfoliate any of that or expose any of that to pressure, hence the gap. So one hand on the inside, just because that little pony. So when we first came down with laminitis, we got the vet out and stuff like that, and one of the things that you have to do with laminitis is you have to figure out the cause of it, and that's when, you know, we need the vet involved, because I deal with the hoof, they'll deal with the internals. And how I explain it a lot with customers is that I deal with the symptoms, but if the cause is still happening underneath, it's like being on the Titanic. It doesn't matter how many holes I sort of patch, if you keep hitting icebergs, the Titanic is still going to sink. So I'm just going to do a little rasp from underneath. And then we'll put the foot down and she can relax. Being very careful, obviously, not to go near that area. You gotta do everything one-handed on a shetty. Alright, done. Put your foot down. Should we trim one of your backs while we're here? There we go. Now I can finally get off my knees then as well. Yeah. Good girl. Just using the back half of my knife there just to get out in the mud, because I don't want little stones and things to dull my sharp knife. Using my little knife as well. We sort of scoop, you know, you don't cut in to the feet. And up one side, little tap. Sometimes it gets stuck in the blade, so sometimes I just tap that out, because this is a loop knife, not a straight knife. Get these little raggedy bits off, and sort of have my plan in my head of what I'm going to do. So we've got more heel, so take a bit of heel off, and work his way around, squish, little wiggle, squish, little wiggle. Good penny. Whoa! There we go, steady on. So now I'm just shaping the feet up with my nippers. Again, creating that little bevel, and do that. Now back to this side. I don't have a stand small enough for that, so this is going to have to be in my hands. Trying not to get my fingers. Very easily done on these little ones, and I'll use the smooth side just because we one, to make the job look nice and stuff like that, and two, this is my shop window, so whereas in front it's all going to be covered by the glue, and it's more detrimental if these shoes don't stay on. So that's why I make it nice and rough in front with these shoes,